The 2023-24 school year in the region was a season for the history books. We saw drama, we saw dominance, and we saw destiny. In a year filled with upsets, unexpected finishes, and unlikely heroes, we at GameDay One commemorate it all with a time capsule, honoring not just the best athletes, but those who will stand the test of time. Not just the great, but the elite. This summer, GameDay One will honor the top 5 male and top 5 female athletes from the 2023-2024 school year. In partnership with Veolia, we present the GameDay One Elite. GameDay One Elite, Daniel Picart, Pleasantville. You can certainly make a case that Daniel Picart was the best football player to come through Section 1 over the last decade. And you could make just as strong an argument he was that way on the lacrosse field. But here's what nobody can dispute. No athlete in this section, not since Ray Rice at New Rochelle, built as big of a name or made as lasting of an impact on their school as Daniel Picart. 4 unforgettable years has passed, and Picart's career on the football and lacrosse fields will go down among the greats. As a running back and receiver, Picart amassed over 6,200 total yards and scored 83 career touchdowns. He ran for almost 4,200 yards, all numbers that put him top 5 in Section 1 history. Picart was selected first team All-State 3 times, winning State Player of the Year twice, and leading Pleasantville to a pair of Section 1 crowns and berths in the Dome for the state final. Then there was his other sport, lacrosse, where he's proved to be one of the most explosive and physically dominant players in the state. A 2-time All-American, Picart had 47 goals and 24 assists this season, leading Pleasantville to a second straight Section 1 championship. And this year, Picart gave up basketball to rest his body for lacrosse despite being an all-conference player as a junior. While Picart continues his career at the University of Richmond this spring to play lacrosse, his legacy as a multi-sport athlete over the last 10 years in Section 1 is solidified. And we are joined now by one of the greats to ever come through Section 1 sports, and I say that with confidence after watching him play so many football games, so many lacrosse games. It is Daniel Picart from Pleasantville, one of our easier selections, I felt, when we picked our GameDay One Elite from the past season, top 10 athletes, sponsored by Veolia. So Daniel, you're down in Richmond. Just before we get talking about your Pleasantville days, how are things going so far this summer?
It's great. We're getting in workouts right now. A couple of upperclassmen are in. We had a camp last week, so it's good. It's not really like any dull time here. We're kind of always doing something, so it's great just to be able to get out on the field with the guys and see how it's going. I
have to tell you, as I said, as someone who maybe of anybody outside of the Pleasantville community, I probably watched you play more football and lacrosse than anybody. Can you believe it's over? I can't. I have a hard time sometimes coming to grips with the fact that I'm going to go to Parkway Field in the fall and you're not going to be there.
I know, it's kind of weird. I'm still getting used to it. I would be expecting to be doing 7-on-7 right now, or just talking to a couple of guys about going to throw or something. But yeah, it's going to be weird, especially not having doubles this year. But I'm looking forward to seeing the rest of the guys show what they could do.
Yeah, you're leaving the program in good hands with some of the underclassmen that are coming back from Pleasantville. Let's talk about your brother first. I mean, that's got to be one of probably the toughest adjustments for you, is that he's not going to be handing you the ball in football. You're not playing football, but he's not going to be handing you the ball anymore. He's not going to be by your side. You're probably going to text him every single day, but you guys being away from each other for the first time, what is that adjustment going to be like?
It's like a cool change of scenery a little bit. Since we're twins, we've been around each other our whole lives, so it's kind of cool to switch it up. But yeah, it's gonna be weird not seeing him.
Aiden's obviously one of your bigger supporters, and you guys accomplished a lot in the time. And I often found myself, with people talking about Pleasantville, talking about you in particular, and kind of always saying I don't think people realize how good Aiden was too as a quarterback. Have you, since football's ended and now lacrosse is over, have you had time to kind of reflect on what you both accomplished?
Yeah, like I used to like whenever I was bored in school, I'd watch the old film, and some of these throws that he would just like just chuck down the field, and it'd either be me or Eric or Emmett or whoever it may be, and it's just like it kind of got overlooked a little bit, um, and just hearing you say that is great. Obviously, it's knowing that someone else saw it, but it's just sometimes some of these throws he makes is cool, so
Yeah,
it's nice to see.
his throws, specifically, I thought in the state championship in your junior year, were just magnificent. Do you think he got enough? Obviously, I don't know if he. I think we agree. I don't think he got enough attention. But he seemed to kind of always roll with it, right? He didn't. He didn't seem like he cared too much. It was a matter about the team and your brother.
Yeah, that was always one thing that he was like good about. Even though he didn't maybe get all the recognition, he was always there. Next week, next game, next drill, just continuing. He's probably the most consistent players on our team.
You guys, I was at your final lacrosse game in the States, up in Albany, and obviously that being the final game you play in Pleasantville, last time you put on green. You walk off the field. I know you guys as a team were upset, not winning state championship and being in the hunt, between football and lacrosse. I found myself also telling people how hard it is to win a state championship in any sport. When you look back, can you kind of appreciate all that you guys did, even if you didn't win that final game?
You can always look back and appreciate what you've done for the town and whatnot, but it's always that like one thing that you didn't get to do. It's like it kind of overshadows everything else.
Yeah, but I don't think it should, because I know it's tough. Maybe one day down the road when you look back at the fact that you ran for
Exactly.
6,000 yards, hit 6,000 yards and 83 touchdowns and all the goals you scored in lacrosse and everything. It's now you're at college. Do you find yourself having? I mean, does anybody coming in? They obviously know you guys know each other from lacrosse. So you're obviously at Richmond, just on the lacrosse circuit, just. Playing travel club soccer, club lacrosse all those years. You're familiar with each other, but do these guys know how good of an athlete you were in high school? Do they know all the stats and all the numbers and all the records you put up?
No, I don't think most of them know that I even played any other sports. Well, they could guess, but not really. There's one kid that I played club with that he would probably know, but other than that, I don't think so.
You can have them follow me on Twitter, and they can scroll back
Exactly.
and find some of the stuff we talked about. I talking about football and lacrosse, obviously basketball as well. You didn't play your senior year. Did you miss it? Did you miss out on? Did you miss not playing basketball?
A little bit. When I would go watch it's like you wish you were out there with your friends. But I decided that was what I was going to do, and just rest up for lacrosse.
Let's talk
So
about
I kinda had
the
to
early. I'm sorry. Let's talk about the early days
No,
of when you first started playing football as a freshman. That was 2021. So it was the shortened COVID season. But you still, that was like kind of like tends to be like the forgotten season. But you still made a name for yourself. What did you learn from that freshman year going out there and making such an impact early on?
It was just kind of like always just cool to me because I always looked up to these guys, and I played with my sister's senior class, which was cool because I knew these guys when they were younger on the varsity team, and the chance to get to play with them was great. I learned a bunch of lessons just about like how to carry yourself from the wide receiver at the time, like our best player per se, Brendan McDermott. I learned from him how to carry yourself whenever you're in either a close game, you're down a couple, you're up a couple.
You go into your sophomore year, and things just took off, man. I mean, it was incredible. Just between all the scoring all the touchdowns, putting up the big numbers, and then come the playoffs. And smart people like myself, I don't think I picked you guys to win your sophomore year to win the second championship. And the next
No,
thing you
I
end
don't
up in the
think so.
dome. What can you kind of look back on that time and just really just kind of seeing your career take off?
Just the camaraderie we had on that team. I'll still tell my friends to this day that year was one of the best football years of our high school career. A year in general. It was great. The bond that we had with the senior class that we kind of didn't have when I was a freshman. It's not like everyone was crazy close, but sophomore year that was like a big thing, just to be like best friends in the locker room, and it was great. It was one of the most enjoyable years.
So that's when I learned. People talked about you, and I said, he could play Division I football, and then they said, no, he's a lacrosse guy. He's a more lacrosse player, and he's into it. You go into your junior year, you win section championships in both, and do you look back now and say to yourself, because I know you put your focus that going into your junior years when you really start putting your focus on for college. Does any part of you think to yourself like, well, maybe what if I did pursue football instead of lacrosse, or has it always been lacrosse?
No, it was definitely not always lacrosse. One of my biggest dreams was to play college football as a kid, and it came down to the opportunity. Now, definitely, as NCAA just came out, I actually have it on my PS5 right now. I'm about to go play it after this, but it would have been cool. Definitely would have been cool.
Yeah, so you're talking about the video game this week, the EA Sports game, which is
Yeah,
I know a lot of people. So you have it. You have it in your possession.
I do have it. I had to get it.
Any of the guys you have set up any games or anything, any matches in the dorm rooms now?
No, no one's really gonna beat me. I've already played a couple of them. They can't. It's not. Yeah, there's no competition there.
So tell me. So now that's the competitive Daniel Picart that I know, and then I hear stories about. Is it true that there used to be something with a ping pong table in the cafeteria at Pleasantville or in the school at Pleasantville? Is that a true story that basically
Yeah.
nobody would want to play you because you were just too good at ping pong?
Sophomore year, we would play ping pong all the time. Like everyone would just congregate at the table, and it would get heated. And I would say that was my prime. I stepped up. I did my time there. I ran it for a little while, and then I had to leave my ping pong days in the past. Luckily for everyone else.
I watched you swing a golf club once last summer at the Pleasantville golf outing. Is that your future? Have you continued to play golf at all?
I've been practicing. I've definitely been practicing. I'm getting a little better. I
So
got the chips down. I'm a big mid range guy.
that's the key to the game. So Brian
Exactly.
Rita, you obviously know he was a prolific goal scorer at Pleasantville. He's as good of a golfer as I've seen now, and he's not that far in high school. So you could do this once your lacrosse career is over.
I Brian Reed better watch out because I'm gonna be there.
You're
No,
gonna be,
some of the stuff I see him post is crazy.
yep, him
But
and
no,
Jack
that'd be
now.
cool.
Yeah, no, that's good. That's good. You can
Crazy.
start like a little Pleasantville tournament or something. We can do. I'll come.
Exactly.
I'll come watch caddy for
Yeah,
somebody. You
perfect.
you have to be excited about the new opportunity, but I think one of the things, and I think we're able to talk about this now. I don't know in all the years, and I've covered like Sammy Maldonado, Ray Rice, Ben Gordon, all the great athletes that have come through. I don't know if I can ever remember an athlete who every single time they played had a bigger target on their back than you. And I don't mean like anyone was trying to come out and like hurt you. Not that they should try, but in terms of they just wanted to beat you. Did you feel that? And how did because I know it's different now with social media and the interaction you can have with players from other schools. So how did you handle
Yeah,
all of that?
it was kind of cool. Honestly, if people didn't like me or any of that, I kind of like it's like kind of like just a cool feeling knowing that like you don't. It's just another game to you, and they just like hate you so much that it's been their whole week.
Yeah, and I hate
It's a
saying the
it's a
word.
cool feeling.
I would hate to say the word hate, but it did feel like it.
Yeah.
Just it felt like everybody had your back, or there was a couple of communities that I would say where like I felt like they were going to ask you for autographs after the game. Um, I mean, there was, and I'm not going to name some schools, but I felt like there was just this like, wow, he's on the other side as you basically ran by them. Is there this? That's not going to be the case in college, I assume. But is there any part of you that feels like maybe that's good that that's over because did it weigh on you at all to kind of always have that?
Have football?
No, just have that target and that bullseye on your back that everybody wanted to beat you.
I still kind of want it. I kind of like. I was talking to my roommate about it. How I just want to be the best at everything I do, all the times I do it. So, because just going back to that feeling of just everyone just not liking you and wanting to beat you, it's just having that and knowing that you're already in their head about it. That's just like one of the biggest things for me.
I was trying to explain to my daughter one day because number 10 at Pleasantville comes up in our house a lot, right? So it's he gets discussed. That's obviously you. And I was trying to explain that, like, they don't know him. That's why they feel that way. So I think that's probably it. They don't know you as a person, but they'd probably feel differently. But that is probably a cool thing to say, that you were, you were on bulletin boards. Like you probably had your name and your face. Anything you said. Did you? Sensitive subject, but did you watch the Rye football movie at all? That came out a few weeks ago, because
No, I haven't watched it. I wanted to watch. I saw a clip from it. One of my friends sent me a clip of it, but no, I actually did want to go watch it.
Yeah,
it's I haven't gotten around to it yet.
You're in it a lot. I'm probably in it just slightly more, but it is interesting, that whole dynamic. It definitely, they wanted to be Pleasantville is basically what it was. So, but it's good, man. That's got to drive you in a lot of ways too, I'm sure, right?
Yeah, no, it's cool. It's something that's gonna happen. You just got to embrace it, I guess.
Do you you envision yourself, as you said, go back to Pleasantville? Just explain to somebody who's not from Pleasantville, and it's always been one of those communities where community involvement has been a huge part of it. The Friday night at Parkway Field. How much did you kind of just relish to be one of the central figures in that these last 4 years?
That was just my dream growing up. It's like when you're a kid, you're always going to these games. When you're a kid, you're not really watching them. You're playing Kill the Carrier in the back. But just the whole environment of being there, it's the whole town goes out. It's like even if you have no relation to the team other than you live in the same area as them, it's like they're still there cheering their heads off. And it's one of the greatest feelings. Even watching it, I would get butterflies when I was a kid. And I was just waiting to go, like, for it to be my turn. It felt like that was the NFL when I was in, like, even in middle school. That was like the NFL to me.
Awesome, man. Goals for this upcoming season for you? I mean, I don't know what the coaches have told you about, your role on the lacrosse squad. Obviously, you got some months to go, but just what are you looking to do, and what sort of work is it going to take to get there?
I want to make an impact right away. Like, same thing. I want to be on the field. I want to be making plays, and it's gonna take a lot of work. It's gonna take a lot of early mornings. I know that for a fact. We've been getting up 5:30 on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and then regular time other days. It's all worth it. Everything works out. Just like in high school, everything's gonna fall into line. Well, hopefully, just like high school.
Yeah.
But no, it's gonna take a lot of work. And, I'm ready to do whatever I need to do just to be able to be out there and go make plays.
One day,
I don't want to come to college just to watch.
Absolutely not. One day soon, invite your teammates and pop on your highlight film. I think they'll be impressed in the football days. I think they'll enjoy watching it. I'm sure you'll enjoy it as well. So
yeah, exactly.
Congratulations on an amazing career. So excited to have you as part of this, and best luck to you. Enjoy the rest of your summer, man, and my best to you, your brother, and on his endeavors as well. And we'll be following. We'll be watching.
Yep. Thank you.
All right.